New from Cult Films on 4K is 1973's The Counsellor, starring Tomas Milian, who I absolutely adore, and Martin Balsam. It's directed by Alberto De Martino, and it's also known as Il Consigliere, and it's released in 4K by StudioCanal Films, who's been doing some really great stuff, and I love the fact that we're getting 4K releases of these types of movies. It's a 70s Italian crime thriller that does owe a lot to The Godfather. It has that gritty poliziotteschi energy where everything looks sweaty, stressed and corrupt, and everybody looks as if they're about 3 seconds away from pulling a gun on each other. This is not a clean or a kind of elegant gangster film. It's much more jagged than that. It's about loyalty, family, the criminal tradition, and what happens when someone decides that they kind of want to step away from that business. Tomas Milian plays Thomas, a former advisor for Don Antonio, played by Martin Balsam, who has been released from prison. When he comes out, he decides that, you know what, I want to go straight. I've done my time, I've seen some bad things, I want out and to live my family. But if you've seen one gangster film, you know exactly what's coming. You don't get out. It's the most dangerous thing you could possibly do, and Thomas, just because of his level, he knows too much. He was a lawyer for them. He has enemies. He has created an impasse as well, because Don Antonio has kind of allowed him to ease out of the family, which has caused Garofalo, a kind of upset gangster who wants to kind of break from the family and start his own kind of family. He's aggrieved that he wasn't allowed to do that, but Tomas seems to be, and ends up starting a gang war. Simple reason this works for me: Tomas Milian. He is incredible. He has such an interesting presence. He can be charming or slippery or intense. He can feel dangerous. He has this chameleonic nature about him whenever he's in a film, where he can completely change. I'm thinking of like Brothers in Arms and things like that. He feels tired. He feels like he's experienced enough of this life and he knows how it works, and he's kind of hopeful that he can escape it, and that kind of makes him compelling because he knows what's going on. He's not naive, he knows the rules, but he thinks that there may also be a space where he can navigate outside of this world. And Milian gives Tomas a kind of mix of street intelligence and this kind of emotional frustration. You can feel that he understands the criminal world from the inside, but he's also starting to see how it can be a trap for him and the rest of his life. And I think that it comes across in the wonderful performance.
Sì, è vero, è così, avete ragione. Se posso aiutare? No, grazie. È una cosa che devo sbrigare da solo.
Equally, you have Martin Balsam, who plays Don Antonio, who is excellent as well. He gives the film real weight because he doesn't play the boss as a cartoon villain. He has warmth in places. Yes, he has authority. He has that old world mob presence where every gesture feels like it could be a threat, and that's what makes him dangerous. But he's not just shouting orders. He lives to the code. It's all about the family. It's all about loyalty and tradition, and that's where the sort of tension in this comes from. He is very affectionate to Tomas and is heartbroken that he's left, but understands that he wants the best for that character, and I kind of like that avenue that it tackles.
Volevo una morte pulita per Torrese, indolore, non volevo che soffrisse. E l'ho detto, ti ricordi? Torrese aveva fatto molto per tutti quanti noi.
The film's also set in San Francisco, which I found a little off-putting to start with. It feels very different from a lot of Italian crime films because of that setting, because many poliziotteschi are set in Rome or Naples or Turin, and it has that kind of specific Italian urban chaos that you expect from those films. Here, the American setting gives the film a slightly unusual texture, so to speak. It feels like crime cinema borrowing from American gangster films, but transposing it with the typical storyline and characters from an Italian poliziotteschi. It feels a little bit rougher and a little bit more aggressive as well, and it doesn't have that sort of stately quality that you would get from some of the other gangster films. Definitely, like I said, influenced by a lot of the films that were coming out at that time, particularly The Godfather, and you can see that echoing throughout the film. There's just a sort of faint ghost of that haunting the screen.
Lascialo stare, Torrese. Per 4 schifosi dollari. Dovrai spendere di più per rifare la plastica al ragazzo. Levami le mani di dosso.
Alberto De Martino is a director that I've not seen too many films from. I saw his Antichrist, which I enjoyed, and Shadows in an Empty Room, which I absolutely adored, and this was the third one I've seen from him, which I really enjoyed as well. And he feels like a director who can do multiple things. He has this kind of directness with the film. It's lean, it isn't overly bloated, it has that energetic 70s approach. It feels like it's wanting that movement and that kind of energy put into it. The way things just move quickly, it's almost treating us as if we've seen other gangster movies and we could fill in the gaps if we need to, but they just want to keep the story flowing, and there is a directness to that I really enjoyed. He knows it's a crime thriller, and he doesn't try to get lost too much in the drama or be too grand or too respectable. It gives you some mob politics but doesn't get hung up on them, and I really kind of like that. And as a poliziotteschi, it's really great. Everything here feels corrupt, from the police downwards to the criminals. Nobody feels safe. Authority definitely doesn't feel clean here and feels as if it's part of this criminal underworld, and the violence has this kind of blunt, chaotic quality to it. It just kind of happens, and it's one of the reasons that I enjoy this film. People are mowed down in a hail of bullets. Nobody seems really affected by it at all. They just feel like impatient for the next action or the retribution that's going to come from it, which I kind of find really fun. For me, what works best is the central conflict. A mob counsellor who wants out, and it sounds trite in the kind of things it's been done before, and it has, but you've got Martin Balsam, you've got Tomas Milian, and that gives it a lot of gravitas between these characters. It gives the film a sense of pressure. You feel the connection between these two characters, and that gets by a lot of the tropes that you see within the film. Now, it's not completely a success because the plotting, like I said, is familiar. Some of the characters could have been deeper, but I think that's by design. I think that's by the choice of the director, who has made this choice to focus on the crime aspect, focus on the story and the propulsion within the story, and try to cut out a lot of these things that may have elevated the movie, but it could have held it back just as well. Like I said, these scenes that need to come in to pad it out a little bit more would be things that are very familiar, that we've seen before. This is a great 4K. It's the worldwide UHD debut of The Counsellor from a brand new scan. And this is exactly the kind of film that I love to get on 4K and jump at straight away. It's got a bunch of extras, it's got a really good transfer, and it's got some interesting extras. So let's just dive in and have a look at them just now. Here we are in the disc for The Counsellor. First up we have Il Consigliere, Tradition versus Modernity, a video essay by Will Webb, which runs for 6 minutes 16 seconds. Then we have an audio commentary with Steve Mitchell and Troy Howarth. There is an intro by Jean-Baptiste Thoret that runs for 8 minutes 27 seconds, where he talks about the director and a bunch of his films, talking about this one mainly, but looking at some of the things that led him to making this. Then we also have a stills gallery and a trailer. There is a 12-page booklet that comes with this set. It is The Return of the Native, The Counsellor, and the Mafia film by Peter Rayleigh. And that's the extras for The Counsellor. The Counsellor, another welcome 4K release for Italian film fans like myself. I hope there are going to be more of these coming soon, because I will absolutely jump all over them. They're exactly my kind of thing. The Counsellor was a really enjoyable poliziotteschi, and I would love to know your thoughts on it. Are you picking this up? Have you seen it before? What's your thoughts on the film? Let me know in the comment box below. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff in the description box, or links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.